Hello and welcome to Frankly Speaking, the show where we dig deep into the insights of some of the leading policymakers and business people in the Middle East and indeed the world. I'm Frank Kane. Today I'm delighted to be joined by Torsten Müller-Ötvös, the Global Chief Executive of Rolls Royce Motors, manufacturers of the legendary motor car, which is the status symbol of choice among the world's elite. Mr. Müller-Ötvös, welcome to Frankly Speaking.
Yeah, Frank, it's a great pleasure to be with you here today. Also an honor. Thanks for inviting me.
It's great to have you on the show. Thank you very much. Let me get straight to the big issue of the day. The whole motoring world is electrifying rapidly. And Rolls-Royce has taken the plunge with the Spectre, which will be unveiled soon. But tell me, frankly speaking, has Rolls-Royce been too slow to get into the EV market?
Oh, Frank, no, not at all. I would even say we are front runners. I mean, we are not comparing ourselves with, I would call it now, normal automotive business. We are high-end luxury, as you rightly pointed out in the beginning. And you might also know that we are the very, very first ones in that I call it the ultra-high luxury segment worldwide. And when we enter the market end of 2023, we are the first ones. And I can tell you, Spectre will be a stunning, remarkable Rolls Royce. We also took our time because first of all, it needs to be a Rolls Royce. So that means no compromises around luxury experiences for our clients worldwide. And then second comes obviously electric. And now I think the time is ripe for us and we are the very first ones. So for that reason, I think we are extremely well poised with our timing.
2023, the Spectre will arrive, yes?
Yes, end of 2023. So in 2 years' time, you will see here the first cars going down Sheikh Zayed Road.
Okay, wonderful. Tell me, what's the main motive for going into EV? Is it a real concern at the corporate strategic level about the future of the planet, or are you worried about future regulatory issues that may arise with petrol engines in Europe in particular?
I mean, for us, this carries a lot of reasons why we entered into electric. Number one is that it fits extremely well to the brand. It is silent, it is talky, it delivers waftability similar to what you experience when you ride in our cars today with that magnificent 12-cylinder engine. And it is also silent, and we are not defining ourselves about loud engine noises or exhaust noises, and for that reason I think it's a perfect fit for the brand. It's not at all a compromise. The second reason is obviously that we also see worldwide certain regulation kicking in, that it might be that in a couple of years you can't enter any longer city centers without driving electric, and that of course would not be great for the brand. And the third reason is that, and you know it, we have extremely young clients worldwide. We see more and more now actively asking for an electric propulsion. I've even talked recently to a client who told me, and he is definitely in our segment in terms of money and wealth he owns, but he is not any longer into combustion engines. So he drives a Porsche Taycan, for instance, and is now, of course, looking what happens in the super luxury segment. And I think we will see a trend, step by step by step, that particularly the younger ones are very much attracted by electric propulsion. And our learning is also that once you're in an electric car, you are probably not getting back into a combustion car. So that wave that we currently see rising here will get bigger and bigger and bigger, and for that reason it would be stupid, I would even call it, not to join that development. And that's, in a nutshell, the reasoning why we go electric. And I feel very comfortable with it, and I think it is the right decision for the brand, and we will go full electric by 2030. That is promised, and it will happen, and we will electrify our, let's say, portfolio step by step by step. We will see the 12-cylinder in our portfolio until the year 2030. So it's a kind of transition from combustion into electric.
You already design, build and sell probably the best car in motoring history. But in the electric age, can you retain that ranking? The competition will be more intense, the technology will advance rapidly. What will be the unique selling point of Rolls-Royce in the electric age?
Yeah, I mean, Rolls-Royce never defined itself purely by the engine. That is not us, that is other brands. We defined ourselves about the ultimate when it comes to luxury. It is the finest materials, the best craftsmanship. It takes 1,000 hours at least to build one of these beautiful masterpieces. It is the bespoke capabilities we are offering. Our clients are commissioning their own dream. They travel to Goodwood, they spec the car, they travel here to the Dubai boutique, doing it from here. And I think all these kind of opportunities are obviously as well available for Spectre. And for that reason, I think I'm not worried at all. And we will offer something that, in my view, is definitely worth carrying the nameplate Rolls Royce Motor Cars.
The traditional image of a Rolls Royce driver is a very wealthy male executive, a film star perhaps, or even a royal behind the wheel, when it's not the chauffeur, of course. But are you looking to change that image for a younger profile, maybe even a more feminine touch?
When I started, and I'm now in that role nearly 12 years, the average age of a Rolls Royce customer was around 56. We are now down to 43. We are even younger than the brand Mini, for instance, in our average age worldwide. We have massively refurbished the brand, reinvented the brand, rejuvenated the brand. We have now very, let's say, young clients all over the world. You are right, with lots of prominent people. You can say 70 to 80% are businesswomen, businessmen, and 30% are celebrities worldwide. But also, coming back to your point about female clients and drivers, that has raised quite significantly. When I joined, it was 1%. Now we are on around 15% worldwide. And I think more to come. And particularly here in the Middle East regions, you see quite a lot of female drivers behind the wheel. And we have thought about it, and I've seen them here over the last days. I think here in the Middle East, we are talking probably 20%. So, and that's quite a good share.
Okay. This brings me to the subject of customization, what Rolls-Royce calls the bespoke process. I wonder, is there a trade-off here between taste and financial incentive? How far would Rolls-Royce go to satisfy a wealthy customer who asks for a really lurid colour scheme, for example, or other kind of accessorization?
Frank, I would never judge the dreams of our clients. We are their purveyors of their dreams, and we will make their dreams happen. And if a client comes around and wants something very special, or we would even call it eclectic, or maybe, and we always need to say, we are not building the cars for our tastes, we are building the cars for our client tastes. And a car, for instance, let's imagine for a moment, bright orange exterior, yellow interior, might look a little bit odd in central London, but down here in Dubai, brightest sunshine, it looks stunning. And I think you always need to keep that in mind. The last thing I want to do is judge with my, I call it now European taste, international clients. So I even say that we are not the taste police in Rolls-Royce. Of course, our designers will advise clients whatever they want to do, and they will also advise, and they will say their opinion if their opinion is valued, and they will say, listen, I would prefer, or we would suggest this and that, but we will never in any way interfere with the dreams of our clients. That's not us.
Can you share with us the craziest request that you've ever had, or maybe one that was too crazy and was declined?
One that was too crazy and was declined, to use your words, was a humidor on the IP top panel. And that unfortunately wasn't able or possible technically, because we would have lost homologation. Because that would have meant that we were forced to take out the airbag system there, and in that very moment you are losing your homologation and it's gone. And these are the very rare few moments when we need to say, dear Mr. and Mrs. Customer, unfortunately not possible, we can't do that. And everybody understands that very moment. If we touch something that is for regulatory meanings extremely important, or for homologation reasons extremely important, and we can't do it. That's fine. But everything else, Frank, your imagination is our limit.
The Middle East in particular has had a long-lasting love affair with Rolls-Royce, hasn't it? Going right back decades to the days when Winston Churchill gave a Phantom to King Abdulaziz of Saudi Arabia. What do you put this unique attraction down to, this kind of affinity between the Middle East and Rolls-Royce?
I think Looking back in history, and allow me to say that, I'm obviously not an expert here, but I think means of transportation, and allow me to call it like that, were always very deeply entrenched in the history of this great country here. And yes, it started all with caravans and camels and whatever, precious animals. And I think for very good reasons, people down here cherish mean of transportation in a substantial different way from many, many other countries worldwide. In particular, when it comes to bespoking, when it comes to crafting capabilities, there is an explicit, excellent eye on here, particularly from our Middle Eastern clients, who have, I call it now, very precise understanding about certain materials, be it mother pearl, be it certain wood, be it embroidery, be it marquetry, and that all harks long back into the history of this country here, and for that reason it's, I would call it, an ideal fit in heaven between Middle Eastern clients and Rolls Royce Motor Cars. And that's, of course, also the reason why we're here since ages, so successful and so in love as well from the Rolls Royce side with our Middle East business.
Tell me, how have Rolls Royce sales held up during the pandemic recession globally? Which countries have continued to buy Rolls Royce motor cars during the recession?
I mean, Frank, to be here honest, we obviously also plunged quite massively. When Corona hit the world, we were forced to shut the plant for at least 2 months. And the year 2020 started, I would call it grim, but ended on a super high. Because what we saw from September, October onwards last year, that the orders worldwide were taking up in an unseen way. And that held true for nearly all countries worldwide. Now in 2021, we are flying. And we are flying literally all over the world, in all countries worldwide, in all our markets. We are far beyond what we have thought might be possible for 2021. We are building Rolls Royces more or less around the clock in Goodwood, and we have an unprecedented level of high demand worldwide. And that is due to many, many reasons. It's on the one side that there is quite some accumulated money during that pandemic time. And number two, and I find that very interesting, is that many clients told me they have witnessed that it is possible that you die quickly. And many of them have even seen that close by. And that made them think, you only live once. Enjoy your life now. Don't postpone it to later days. And I think that is also the reason why the entire luxury goods industry is currently on such a high.
Tell me, which models are selling well in Saudi Arabia and the rest of the Gulf? I'm thinking in particular of Black Badge and the Cullinan. How are they selling?
Spot on, Frank. Well judged and guessed. So it is very much Cullinan, but also I can tell you Ghost is here on a high. In particular, the recent launch Black Badge Ghost is here an unbelievable success story. We have reeled in so many orders over the last couple of weeks, I couldn't trust my eyes. So for that reason, I think what we are currently seeing, and we will see that ongoingly into 2022, is head-on-head Ghost and Cullinan. Volume-wise, of course, then comes the Phantom, which is on lower volume levels for good reasons, because this is the pinnacle of the brand. But Phantom also is here on a very stable flight in the Middle East and is seen as the most, let's say, prestigious car when it comes to an executive limousine. And if you want to go for the best, you go for a Phantom.
Within the region, which are the best-selling markets? Abu Dhabi for some time was the global leading distributor, wasn't it? Where does it rank now? Which are the hot countries within the GCC?
I mean, still the hot countries are Abu Dhabi and Dubai. Qatar is great for us, Kuwait. I think literally all markets where we're operating in here are doing a very good job currently. But the ranking is more or less same to what you might have seen over the last years. It's always that Dubai and Abu Dhabi are pretty much head-on-head. And also followed now by a very strong Qatar business development, also surprising and amazing to see. The team there does a great job for us, as the ones I've just mentioned here. And for that reason, I'm extremely pleased with how the business developed here in the Middle East for Rolls Royce motor cars.
What about Saudi Arabia? Because that's a much bigger market, of course. Have you any special plans there?
I mean, Saudi obviously is a big market. I see even more potential to come from Saudi in the years to come because the market is currently also opening up and is growing. We also see now first female drivers in our cars in Saudi. And for that reason, I foresee also there that we might, in a couple of years, talk frank about this being a massive, great market. It might even be one day the #1 market in the entire region. Who knows? Potential-wise, possible, but depends on some other aspects.
Have you noticed any correlation over the past couple of years between the oil price and Rolls-Royce motor sales?
Yeah, sort of, because the oil price is quite an indicator here also for how healthy the economy is, and we are very much dependent on how the economy goes. If the economy flies, we fly. And there were even a lot of your colleagues worldwide who used Rolls-Royce as an early indicator for how the economy in a country might go. And we are always sensing that. And if something goes wrong in economy, you immediately see a certain hesitation because nobody needs us to go from A to B. This is not automotive business. It's not your lease contract expired and I need a new one. That's not the case. It is a luxury good, and luxury comes to you and it sits on your soul when you feel well. And you feel well when your own business runs well. And that's the reason why we are also, let's say, dependent from the economical development. But we are used to it. I'm now in that role here since 12 years, and we have seen markets going up and then going down, coming back again. That's normal.
Final question, and a bit of a personal one. Can you tell me what car you drive yourself?
A Wraith Black Badge, or Black Badge Wraith to be correct. That's my current car I'm driving in the UK.
That's really interesting to know. Mr. Müller-Ötvös, thank you very much indeed for appearing on Frankly Speaking today. It's been a pleasure to have you.
Pleasure, Frank. Thanks a lot for having me.